So Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce, XXV, Double I,
Rome,
D-Malo,
Gruff Lion.
T-Boogie, man.
Just the greatest sports show on the planet. La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say. We back. It's your favorite sports show, guys. Present sports for the culture. I am your host at Bryce XXV Double I. You know what, fellas? I had somebody ask me about the username recently. They said, "What is XXV Double I?" I said, "Man, count your numbers, man. Do your Roman numerals, man." I'm disappointed in the people. Maybe AI should take all this shit over. I don't know, bro. But y'all know what it is. I'm your host tonight. Your favorite sports show on the planet, Gas Present Sports for the Culture. As always, I got the dream team with me. Let's introduce these good men. Top right, introduce yourself.
yes sir. You know who it is. Young Rome 22 on all socials as always, man. Hey, we might have to start recording the pre-show and charging people again because the pre-show we be dropping some gems in the pre-show. But I don't want to take too much time, man. So let's get into it. You know who I am.
Dog, real shit though. And really what we should do, like, since we go so crazy on the pre-show, it's gonna be a dub ahead, bro. Like the college parties back in the day, man. It's a dub ahead. If you don't got the dub, you can't get in, and who knows what you might see. And maybe nobody pays for it, but we already doing it for free. So we might as well charge an exorbitant amount.
Much like them college parties, you pay a dub to get in, you're gonna see some shit.
Nah, facts. Bottom left, introduce yourself.
T-Boogie, man. Wash your hands, wash your ass. You know what it is. I'm back in my camouflage, you know what I'm saying? In case we got any more Niners haters out there, I'm back ready for wartime. This time it's covert snow options, you know what I'm saying? All weather gear, all weather terrain. But yeah, man, I'm just ready to have a good show, man. I've been looking at the brackets, the men's, the women's, the BBL brackets. I seem to be a bracketologist with the, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, maybe we get into it, maybe we don't. Maybe that's that pre-show content you got to pay for. I don't know. But
hey, what was the last name? Janice who?
Janice.
Oh, bro, you in the weeds right now, my boy.
I had to. We were talking about. We might talk about it. So you know, you got to do your proper research. You know, there's no tournament bracket we talk about on the show without being a little edgy.
The name is Janice, but I believe she goes by another name online.
I'll say this too about the lesser known 16 seed. That 16 seed is the only one we've seen actually putting in work this year.
A crazy amount of work.
Amount of work. You know, out of that entire bracket, we know what that 16 seed, you know, what they're capable of.
I wish we wasn't talking in codes, and man, y'all would just be real.
Nah, bro, it's one of those. It's one of those. If you know, you know. You either in the loop or you out the loop on this one, man. Get your hip later, though. We'll get you hip later.
You know.
Top left.
Casey puts in work. If you ever seen her in construction gear, just know she puts in. She's been a lot of things. She's been everything from a construction worker to a school teacher. Right? Plays a lot of different roles, man. But top left, introduce yourself.
Gotcha. I think I know what you're talking about. What up, man? Scruff, man. Spiritual alchemist. Yeah, I'm just I'm vibing, man. You know, like T says, it's bracket season. You feel me? Pay y'all taxes. You feel me? And you know, get your brackets going, man. Let's get it. Underdog season too, man. I love March Madness because there's so many underdogs, so many crazy ass odds, and I got a lot of good. I feel like I'm you know, I got some good shit, man. Let's go.
All right, bet we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that for sure. A couple other conversations I want to have based on the pre-show. I'm gonna introduce a little later, man. I'm gonna make it a little organic with it. But let's start with the brackets, man. Might as well. Scruff, it sounds like you got some good information over there, and I want to start with sleepers, man. Who are y'all sleepers this year? And when I say sleepers, don't give me a 5 seed, bro, and tell me they're a sleeper. All right. I want your prediction for the team that's gonna shock the world this year. Thinking back to previous years, remember we had Florida Gulf Coast. Remember that FGCU? throwing crazy alley oops to random car salesmen. It was going crazy that year. What was the school that had the sister Catherine or whatever her name was? You remember they had the old nun holding it down. She was like 95 years old, was keeping them boys afloat, man. She was praying them boys to the next round. What's another sleeper in recent memory? I don't know, man. There's a couple of them happen every year. But give me a couple of sleepers that you guys think that people could possibly make some money on this year on the sports betting app. Scruff, starting with you, man.
All right, man. First of all, let me tell you this, man. I know that people love the Cinderella story. And this is much like real life advice. Don't go out there looking for Cinderella, man. That's not a good approach. But what you can expect is in the first round, there's going to be some upsets. First round, there's going to be some upsets. Second round might even be some upsets. But really, there's a numerological path of which is going to get you there. Because history will tell you that typically an 11 seed is going to beat a 6 seed. That's going to happen every year. A 12 seed is typically a good seed if you want to pick somebody that's an underdog. Because what happens is I'm strategic. This is not like, pick a team. Like this is really legit. So like a team like VCU at 11 going against BYU. I kind of like that matchup. You know why? Because BYU plays in like a very vanilla ice cream conference. You know what I mean? And like if they really played anybody, like okay, but like VCU, man, I could see them making some noise. 11 seeds are a good bet. 12 seeds are a good bet. So like to me, that's the guys you're gonna go for. And then you also look the opposite angle, which is like which teams are prone to be upset in these kind of games. So I look at, did I miss one? Oh no, there we go. I look at Purdue. Y'all remember a couple years ago when Purdue lost to St. Peter's in the first round? So, once, like Purdue going Purdue. They've been doing it. Purdue going Purdue. So I like High Point. I like High Point against Purdue, 13 seed. There's another one. Let's see. So those are two off the bat. Let me see. Let me go on the other side of the bracket here. And I hate to say y'all not gonna like this answer, but I would say Maryland is on upset alert, but I could also see Maryland going to the fucking Sweet 16. So like I don't know, but like Grand Canyon could fuck around and beat Maryland. In my opinion, Maryland was lacking in their conference tournament. They got out rebounded by like 25, and like y'all grown men doing that with like big guys. They're supposed to go to the NBA. Like yeah, you was right, Bryce. That dude does remind me of Karl Anthony Towns a whole lot. Who else? Colorado, 12 seed. I said pick a 12 seed. Colorado is my 12 seed. And I just got a feeling about that Michigan UC San Diego. I don't know. That just I might switch my pick right now. I just feel like I don't know that one could go the other way. Because San Diego Tritons actually put up more points per game than the Michigan Wolverines as it would have it. And they own the turnover battles. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you, man. Like there's upsets out there. So I would say be strategic in the first round. So like as I say, pick a couple upsets. You know what I'm saying? The odds are really pretty good. So like go for a couple. Don't parlay them either, knuckleheads. Just take it straight. There you go.
Thanks, Scruff. You took my top two upsets that I had marked down, man. VCU was my number one, and Grand Canyon was a possibility. I don't really see Grand Canyon beating Maryland, but I mean, to Bryce's question, we're picking upsets, like a real upset here. So those two make the most sense.
I'll take Grand Canyon
if
with
I'm
the points though, like it'll cover the spread.
Yeah, I can see that too. But if we're going, if I gotta get deeper in the bag of upsets, I would say, UNC Wilmington upsetting Texas Tech. That would be a crazy story. That would be something to talk about for sure. But you know what? I mean, that's the thing with the March Madness. This is literally why it's called March Madness, because something crazy is bound to happen, and trying to predict what exactly is going to happen is mad.
Ooh, Colorado State is really good, actually. I was just looking a little bit more.
They always a sneaky good team in the tournament, but they never make it too far. So maybe this is a year. I'll give you guys one that I'm gonna be betting on a little bit this March Madness season. And it's really because of one player. I feel like he's one of the best point guards I've seen this year. So my sleeper team, I got them at least going to. I'm gonna have them in my bracket at least going to Sweet 16. I can see them making to the Elite Eight. It's New Mexico, man. New Mexico Lobos. And reason being is they've got the Mountain West Player of the Year. My guy Donovan Dent. He only 6'2", 170. Giving them buckets though. I mean, he's guaranteed to drop 20 points. He can get you anywhere between 6 to 10 assists. And I think there's a. I mean, now they are coming in as a 10 seed, so it's not like they're Cinderella per se. But when we talk about a team that could make a deep run in this tournament, I'm hedging my bets on. I'm definitely gonna put a couple dollars on them during this March Madness betting season. And really like FanDuel and DraftKings and ESPN Bet have really changed the landscape of like March Madness, man. Because if you pick that one Cinderella, and I think we were all trying to do it last year. Honestly, we've all made a couple dollars the last couple years. Like you pick that one Cinderella, man, you can have a nice little March. So I'm definitely trying to scout out some more teams. So drop your teams in the comments, team that you think the gas panelists should go ahead and bet with this year.
Let me add something to what you just said too, Bryce, for New Mexico. 7-10 matchup. 10 tends to be the most popular upset. There's typically one 7-10 upset every year, so I could definitely see it being New Mexico. Marquette always just like real, just mid to me. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
T, I ain't hear no upsets from you, man. You got any in mind?
Yeah, man. I can't tell you. Well,
man, I try and give out no information. That's nasty work, bro.
I got one more for you. McNeese State against Clemson. That's another upset right there. Another 12. The 12s is the upsets, baby. I'm going with the 12s.
I'm gonna just tell you what I know. St. John's is probably the strongest team I've seen play this year. They're a 2 seed. I got St. John's at least to the Final Four. If they lose before that, it'll be a travesty. One thing about the tournament, you can ride with tournament coaches. You can ride with teams with a superstar / marquee player. Maryland has Derek Queen, so that Grand Canyon upset is not going to happen. They might play him close the first half, but that team will lose by double digits for sure. And you can ride with teams that have excellent guard play. The tournament has always favored teams with good guard play. So if you between teams and you can't pick, go guard play, marquee players, coaches in that order. But just pure upsets. I like North Carolina to beat Iowa State. I like North Carolina to go all the way and lose to Michigan State. My other upset is on the other side of the bracket. I believe it's Georgia to beat Gonzaga and get to the Sweet 16. I can't think of who else they have to beat on that. Maybe Houston. I think Georgia has to beat Houston off the top of my head. But I got Georgia in the Sweet 16 as well. So that would definitely be an upset. Because what is Georgia, 8 or 9? 9. Okay, so yeah, Georgia would beat Gonzaga, and then I got them beating Houston. So you can make some money on that.
Nah, that's definitely the thing that's not going to happen. I forget what the stat is, but I think Georgia hasn't advanced in the tournament in like 23 years.
Hey man, bet with Boogie. New segment coming soon.
Get broke with Boogie. New segment coming soon.
Hey, they asked me for an upset. I'm giving you a 9 over a 1. I'm giving you the first big out of the tournament. Houston goes down to Georgia.
See, but you're picking all wrong. You're picking your upset. we didn't even have the matchup set yet. So like you're picking such a far-fetched matchup because that probably won't even happen. The second game that you're talking about. You're talking about some shit that's happening in the future. I just gave 6 upsets, four to 6 upsets that could happen tomorrow. Like
it's a good thing we can always run the tape.
We're not even going to remember your fucking upset by the
If
time.
we get to Houston, if Houston wins and Georgia wins, and it's Houston versus Georgia, I'll give Boogie his credit, man. A couple years back, you called the Eagles. What was it, 6-7 games straight? Like, hey, man, might got a crystal ball.
Every once in a while.
He gets no credit for calling the Eagles 6-7 games straight. Fuck out of here, man. But all right, hey, enough of the Cinderellas, man. I want to hear some of these top teams, man. Like who we got out of the top 4 or 5 seed. I don't want to hear no middling 10, 11 seeds. Nah, give me out of the front runners who y'all think is destined to make a run based off the season they've had, what they've shown all year, and what y'all think they can do in these first couple rounds. I'll start. One team I like, and you know what? I'm going back and forth, and I haven't seen, to be quite honest, I haven't seen a ton of college basketball this year. Not as much as I would like, but one team I've been impressed with every time I watch them play is Texas A&M, bro. I feel like they've got a really good mix of bigs and guards. I really rock with Wade Taylor IV. I feel like he's a solid player, and every time I watch them, Wade Taylor going off. So I think Texas A&M ended with a 4th or a 5th seed. I expect them to make a solid run in this tournament, and I will definitely have them advancing and through the first 2 rounds. Hopefully they don't fail my bracket. Any other teams that y'all got in that 4 or 5 seed, maybe even me a 1 seed, a straight front runner that y'all think going to do well this year?
Pencil Duke and all the way.
With or without flag?
With or without flag. Pencil Duke.
That's bold.
Wait. What's status on flag? Is he gonna play or not?
I don't know. Last I heard, I thought he had a chance coming back, but
I heard that too. But like, if he don't play, I'm gonna really hate him because like I'm picking Duke. I had Duke in the Final Four, but I thought he was gonna play.
I mean, if he's
that changes
smart,
everything.
If he's smart, he shuts it down. You do what they do.
Well, I'm picking some different shit. All right, this changes everything.
Yeah, that does change a lot because I was under the impression he was playing.
Yeah, they're trying to fuck us over early, Rome. Come on now. All right, that changes everything. So in that case, Houston looks like they're destined to win that side of the bracket, with Duke being out. Arizona is another team I will keep a very close eye on because they might beat Duke in the Sweet 16. So actually, Arizona is another team I will keep a really close eye on with Duke. Duke being not at full strength really is such a huge opportunity for that region. And the prime beneficiary of that will be probably Arizona. So Arizona is going to make it all the way to the Elite Eight. That's my pick. And ain't no way in fucking hell that Duke's making it to the fucking Elite Eight without Cooper Flag. So I'm not buying that one bit. Houston is probably going to win that side of the bracket. On the other side, I think Florida is a hell of a team. I think the left side of the bracket is tough. Florida is a hell of a team. Might be the best team in this tournament, but I don't know if they're going to win. St. John's is a tough team, as T said. Great defensive team, great rebounding team, but 2 things they don't do well. They don't shoot the ball well,
nope,
and they don't from 3, and they don't shoot good free throws. That's going to catch up to them at some point. So maybe Sweet 16 for them, but I think they're going to end the team that I think is really sleeping. I mean, Auburn, you got to consider Auburn because like they're like all like 27. You know what I'm saying? Like the youngest dude on the team is like 26. They're older than the Thunder. Look that up. Michigan State is the team though that's like kind of just sitting there looking like I don't know.
Dog, man. I rock with
they got everything. They got everything you need. They got the coach pedigree. They've got the experience. They tend to rise in these situations. They're the anti-Purdue. Like they always do well in the tournament. And then you got this. Then you got Jace Richardson, who might be one of the best point guards in the country. And who doesn't love, as we were talking about, who doesn't love the second generation you know what I'm saying? Like story, like, you know, we like that. Like, you know, we spent a half hour talking about Bronny last week. So this kid can actually play basketball.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Brian gonna step to you like he did Stephen A. But now I feel the experience of Auburn. And you know, one other team that I gotta mention, bruh, has been another one of my. Again, I ain't watched as much ball as I wish I did out of college. Duke out of 32. Okay. Who beat Houston? Man, that's tough. And it's crazy for Houston because they lost my guy from last season. What's my boy's name? Point guard that I went to was it the Raptor? Sheed.
Yeah, he was a dog.
He was a dog for them, but they had this other dude like step right in his place, basically playing the exact same role, bro. It's crazy. But I like Alabama, bro. And Alabama, they kind of went dancing last year, bro. Remember they had Grant Nelson, big white dude with the mustache showing out last year. And then, like, my favorite player from Alabama isn't even Grant Nelson. I like Mark Sears. To me, he kind of reminds me of Jalen Brunson light. He's like a light version. You know, he ain't quite Jalen Brunson, but same build, same stature, and can put up buckets, man. So Alabama's a team that I've got making a pretty deep run this year. And I think with the experience they've gained, they got a legit chance. Any other teams in that, 5 to 1 seed range that we like?
Damn, I wish I
still like Duke. I watched them battle without Cooper. I think they'll play with a chip on their shoulder, with or without him. Blue Bloods, man. Like
Con Knipple is a problem.
Listen, T, your pick, the UNC going to the second round when they were just a play-in team, is the exact reason why you think Duke is going to go ahead. Is because you're betting on the power of the brand and the conference. But in reality, what you saw was Duke beating up against subpar ACC opponents. They're not going to do that against guys that are like the dogs in their conferences. It's not going to happen.
Every single year, the ACC comes to play. Whether or not they win a chip, but every year, the ACC tough outs. You don't want to see the ACC as a matchup, especially if you're one of these 4, 5, 6, 7 seeds. Like, you don't want an ACC team.
I bet you that no ACC team makes the Final Four.
Dub.
Dub. I got. All right, there we have it. We got Dub. We got Dubs being thrown around. Okay. Rome, any team before we move off this topic? At least
I like Duke. Duke is my pick. Even if Flag doesn't play, I wanted to pick Auburn, but it does just feel like Auburn is destined to lose, right? I feel like they're gonna mess around, get to the Sweet 16, and just find a way to take an L.
No love for Auburn. Damn. All right. Last question, man. Before we get off this topic, we focused on teams. For this last question, I want to focus on individuals. I want to focus on players, man. You make it hard. Good stuff. I want to focus on players for this last question. And let's see, man. Let's see what y'all think. Who is a player that we looking out for during this NCAA tournament? I'll start with this one. I'm actually really going to be watching a couple players close, and it all revolves around the NFL draft for me. NBA draft for me. All right. 2 guys I'm really going to be watching close. One, VJ Edgecombe from Baylor. This is another good situation where you've got y'all keep talking about the coaching pedigree, where the coaching pedigree meets star player, right? And I feel like VJ Edgecombe's got so much potential, man. I mean, people were comparing his profile to Russell Westbrook coming out of college. And I'm like, I don't know if I quite see that, but I think this tournament's the type of thing that get him on the map. Let's not forget it took a D-Wade Marquette run to really put him on the map and get him drafted number 3 overall. And you just never know what happens in this tournament that can really put the spotlight on somebody. So I'm watching VJ Edgecombe. And then another guy I'm watching who's probably a little more high profile based off the season than VJ Edgecombe. But, man, this guy has become one of my favorite players quickly. And that's my guy, Trey Johnson from Texas, man. If you have not watched my guy Trey Johnson play, you are asleep out here, man. Like, buddy is a bucket, dog. Freshman out of Texas. And another situation with Rick Barnes where star player meets coaching pedigree. And I'm excited to see these two youngsters go at it in this tournament and see, they might be jockeying for draft pick status for real, for real. Whoever does better in this tournament might be the one that goes higher in the draft. Matter of fact, mark my words, whoever does better in the tournament between VJ Edgecombe and Trey Johnson gets the higher draft pick. I'm almost 100% sure about that. So let's see how that plays out. Any other players that we got our spotlight on during the tournament, folks?
Hey, VJ is a top 5 pick, regardless. I don't care what he does.
No matter what he does. Yeah, I be feeling that way too. Sometimes I feel like we got that dog in him. And I think he does, bro. I think he showed me enough that like he got that dog in him. But I feel like he doesn't realize how good he is, bro. That's how I always feel when I watch him.
That's what you want, right? Because NBA draft is turned into all about potential, right? So I think you want a guy that's just scratching the surface. But I'm watching another guy for draft purposes too. Derek Queen. I am still not convinced that he can get it done at the next level. Not yet. Not yet. He's played himself to the top of the draft, in my opinion. But I'm not convinced. Just not convinced yet. I would need to see him put the team on his back and take them on a run to like 8 for me to say this might be the type of guy that can help your franchise. Like, because where he might go, you're looking for a franchise player.
So wait, what is it about Derek Queen that makes you feel like he might not get done at the next level?
It's kind of old fashioned. I'm used to the bigs now being more on the perimeter, being able to just stand out in the corner, hit the 3, play a lot of pick and roll. But Queen is looking like a guy that can play inside out. Looking like a guy you can dump the ball into, can get a bucket back to the basket, get a bucket mid range, and maybe hit the NBA 3. I'm looking for him to be a 3-level guy. If he's only 2, that's fine. But I think for a big to be a superstar at the next level, you got to be a 3-level guy now. And,
that's interesting. Kevin Willard, the Maryland head basketball coach, said something a few weeks back. He said if Derek Queen was a Euro had a European last name, that he would be no question top 5 pick in this year's NBA draft.
If Derek Queen was, if this was the 1999 draft, he would be for sure, right? He looks better than Kwame Brown to me. So if this was the 2003 draft, he'd be up there. But I just need to see that his game translates, because at the next level, there's a lot of really talented, really athletic bigs. And like I said, the fact that he can play with his back to the basket, which is a lost art, I don't know if a team is looking for that. Like,
it's interesting that you said that, because I was going to say Derek Queen, because I love the style of play. And I think a team needs to take the chance on that, because to me, it's kind of like with football, how you saw, the offense shift to passing, basketball's kind of shifted more to shooting. I think you got to kind of go with that old school big in a world where it's going to be harder to defend a guy like that night in and night out. I do hear you though, T. I do think, shooting wise and range wise, more of that does need to translate just because of where the game is currently at. But I think he could potentially be a piece to change, the way the game is being played right now, because I think he's actually that good.
I mean, I couldn't disagree more with T. I feel like Derek Queen gonna be a dog at the next level, and mainly because of his ability outside of the back to the basket offensive game. His offensive game is nuanced. I mean, he can pass the hell out of the basketball. For a big to be 6'11", 6'10", whatever he's built at, he can handle the hell out of the basketball on the dribble drive, man. Like, it's impressive to be that size, have that mass, and be able to dribble the basketball the way he does. I know I'm going a little too far with this, but I see some shades of Jokic every time I watch him, bro. And not saying he is Nikola Jokic, right? That's a finished product, you know what I'm saying? But I see shades of it in the way that he passes the ball and the way he sees the floor. I think he's going to be great at the next level.
All right. I think this is my question. Can you play through him as a number 1 scoring option?
No, but you don't need to, though. He's not going to be like a top 5, top 10 pick. He's going to be probably like a mid-teen pick. Go to a team that's like fringe, like, playoff-ish, and just be able to just come in and pop, you know what I'm saying? He's in, you could plug him right in, you know what I'm saying?
So what I'm saying is, I guess, because I've seen him fly up draft boards, I don't think he's a 20-10 guy, at least not right away. But I guess what you're saying, Scruff, if he's a 15-7, 16-8 type of guy,
shit, if he's like 12-6 in his first year, like that's fantastic.
He can. So at 12-6, that you'd be okay with him as a pick 14, 15.
Shit, yeah.
I'll be okay with a top 5 pick if he's 12-6 his first year.
Good with that. I'm good with that. Yeah. Honestly, like the number 1 pick last year was Ricochet. Look up his numbers and come back to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's be real, man.
12-6 sounds about right.
What's Alex Sarr's numbers? Like, come on, man.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the NBA draft now is all about potential and what that guy can be.
This year's class is very good, obviously, right? So, you know.
But if Cooper Flagg came in and gave you 12-6, you'd be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying.
But Cooper Flagg is getting another level of hype. There's like levels of hype. Cooper Flagg is a tier 1, and I'd say was Queen, right? I would say he's kind of like a tier 2 or tier 3 right now in this year's draft.
To your point, though.
Okay, Ron.
To T's point, though, if Queen can carry Maryland far in this tournament, you think he's shooting up draft boards now? It's just going to keep going up, you know. So I think if he shows something in this tournament, man, that'll change a lot of the narrative.
Right now, they got him.
He might end up being one of those tier 1s.
If Queen goes in the teens in the NBA draft, it'll be one of those picks where we look back and say, how the hell did he go that late? All right, Derek Queen is, to me, tailor-made for the NBA game, bro. And I get the biggest knock on him is he's not a three-point shooter. I think he's got touch, right? And that's the thing. You know what? Let me look this up because I'm not sure about it. But the telltale sign for a good shooter at the next level, y'all know what it is, free throw percentage. So let me look at my man's free throw percentage and just verify that, bro. Because if I see a free throw percentage over 70, 75%, I'm not questioning his shooting ability, bro. And I think the touch I've seen around the rim, 10 to 15 foot range, he's knocking those middies down. So let me just verify this because I got a feeling he's a decent free throw percentage, 76.8. I am not worried about Derek Queen shooting the basketball whatsoever. I'm telling y'all, if he gets drafted in the teens, that's a mistake by the evaluators, bro. Derek Queen gonna be a dog.
That's what I'm saying.
I think he's the best big man, pure big man in the draft.
I've seen him.
But they sleeping on big men a lot these days, bro.
Yeah, that's why Jokic goes 57 in the draft, wherever he went, 55.
Yeah.
I mean, but the fact is, big men just haven't been the franchise changers that they once were. So it's a risk.
Yeah, very risky. And an injury risk. So it is drafting big men these days is very risky. But I don't know. I think Derek Queen will be an interesting case study for us to kind of watch how his career progresses. Because I truly do think he's going to be a dog in the league.
I just want to throw this guy out there that hasn't turned this franchise around yet either. Whether they're doing it on purpose or not, could be a little bit of conspiracy. But I mean, Wemby, generational, has not been able to turn that franchise around.
That's another. We have to be a whole other conversation about the generation.
Yeah, I think that's early to say right now, but
the generational, the whole term generational prospect it pisses me off like no other because like the concept. What is a generation? A generation is what, like 20 years, 30 years? We're talking about. So how can we have a generation prospect every 6 years then?
We have generational.
That's about how often it should happen, though. It should happen because if you think about how like what a generation is, right? A generation is what, maybe 10, 15 years? Like, I mean, you think about like the LeBron KD, that's a generation. Then you got a whole nother generation coming in. So I would say, like, could you have 3 to 4 generational players in one generation? I think so. And I think it is a term, and we can talk about that for a minute. I think it is a term that gets used a little too loosely. But to me, what generational means is you're only coming around one time this generation. The type of player you are only comes around once in the generation. I think you can only take a handful of guys from each generation that you can truly give that tag to, bro.
There's one
right. So
Yama, like there's one Steph Curry. There's a lot of clones, but like there's
only one of them. He's generate that, and that's what makes you generational. Is that you only come around one time each generation, dog. And that doesn't mean it can't be 3 or 4 of you, 3 or 4 generational players, but typically it probably won't be the exact same player 3 or 4 times.
You could also come around one time and just be that bad too, you know. But I get what you're saying.
You're
Nah,
generationally terrible.
I hear what you're saying, Bryce, and I like your breakdown of it, man. But if we're being real, like the term generational player in the sports world right now is getting whored out. Right, it's getting completely whored out. When people say generational player, it's basically like walking down the red carpet with Kanye and his wife, because that term is just straight see through to me. Like we use it all the time for no damn reason. We say this player is generational, that player is generational, and then they fail completely. So I feel like people see a good talented player and throw that generational tag on them because they're taller than everybody else and happen to be fast, or they're stronger than everybody else and happen to be fast, so they must be generational.
Or
But
they're
the
like
truth is,
Zion and they built like all fucking strange and shit. They're like, oh, this motherfucker different.
All right, let's play. Let's play this game then. Let's play it. I'm gonna call this the generational game. I'm gonna give y'all the name of a player. We'll debate if they're generational or not. All right. So let's go ahead and start with Wembanyama. Generational, yes or no? I say yes.
no,
Yes.
Yeah.
Who said no?
Wrong.
I said no.
Nah, you bugging. He like 7'6" and he dribbles like, you know what I mean?
Right. So what has he done to earn the generational tag? Be taller than everybody else? Like what does he
Being
want?
like unique.
To be
No,
able to be that tall
generational
and
pro.
move like
See,
that.
here's the thing though. Generational
Generational
talent, general
prospect.
prospect, the generational
Okay.
prospect, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm going with generational talent for this. I'm talking about guys that are
Okay,
in the
talent.
league.
But talent
We call them
implies
generational talent.
potential.
Wemby is a generational talent, bro. Like
Talent.
the thing, talent, generational, bro.
Thank you,
Agree.
Bryce. 'cause
Agree.
I was literally thinking about this because y'all making some good points, right? Zion shouldn't be moving the way he's moving. Like physics says he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
He blew out a shoe, right? Wemby shouldn't be moving the way he's moving. Brandon Jacobs in football shouldn't have been moving. Derrick Henry, but when I hear the word generational, I'm thinking talent, right? I've met women that were generational talents, and they weren't sized any way special. All right, it's about talent. All right, you
But I think it's tied to each other though, right? Because I think like your generational ability can be tied to your talent and your physical gifts. That and when those two things meet, it can make you generational. Some people are generational just for the talents alone. So okay, how about this one? I think this is a good question right here, and we might have some mixed reviews on this one. Ant Edwards, generational or not?
No. Maybe.
Look at this man change his mind in real time. He said, nah.
Man,
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
You ask about players that their story is not written. Like I feel like there's players that have come into the league that weren't looked at as generational players and then became that. Like once their careers went on.
Disagree. See, that's where I disagree, bro. I think like if you generational, like I don't think just being a great player makes you generational. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like what makes you generational.
I agree with that, but I'm saying like we can't. People want to say like, "Oh, you were generational from the start." Like we all saw that. I saw it first. So people are throwing that tag on the players that are not generational though.
That's the thing about it.
Fans want to be first.
It's becoming something different.
I knew bro was gonna be good. I knew he was gonna be this and that, but he's not.
You're right though, Rome. It's becoming more about how much draft hype someone has, than it is about because Ant Edwards might actually be generational talent, but the year of his draft, he would just happen to be the best player in the draft. But no one was saying he was a generational talent at that point. And I know nobody gonna sit here and tell me that because nobody told me that.
Ant is not a generational talent, and neither.
Well, he might be.
No, he's not. No, they're not.
Well, you know what? He's played well enough to find his way into this question, right? So if you tell me after another 3-4
he's got
seasons,
a generational mindset.
If he wins a chip,
that's worth something.
He's popular enough to have worked into this conversation, but from a skill set situation, from a talent perspective, Donovan Mitchell does the exact same thing, but he's 3 inches shorter. And no one would call Donovan Mitchell a generational talent. Very, like Lawson Finer said, very fun to watch, supremely athletic, fun guy to listen to do interviews. You know what I'm saying? He's a likable guy, but
true,
not a generational talent.
Yeah, you're probably right.
All right, I'm switching sports here, but it's because we're on the generational talent topic, right? So I need to get y'all answer on this one. It was Tom Brady a generational talent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he damn sure wasn't a generational talent before he got drafted. So what did he do? He played himself into being a generational talent. If Ant Edwards wins 3 straight chips, you can't tell me he's not generational, bruh. So in this moment, you can say, "Oh yeah, we didn't
Bro,
look at him like a
that's a
generational
hell of a
talent."
hell of a
When
hell
his
of a leap
career
of
is
faith.
done,
You just
I
gave this
just,
man
bruh,
three chips. This guy hasn't even made
I,
one
I
chip.
it
Like,
don't
what
it
are we
don't got it
talking
don't got
about?
to be it don't got to be 3 chips. But my point remains the same. Like when his career is said and done, like we don't know what he's gonna do from this moment forward. If
Nah,
it's
but
all greatness, you can't
yeah.
tell me that he wasn't generational because we didn't see it when he was getting drafted.
All right, how about this one? How about this
Agree with
one?
that.
Luka Doncic, generational talent or not?
Without a doubt.
Talent.
Without a doubt. And I told y'all before
Yeah,
the draft too, for bonus points.
yeah. I
Luka
say yeah.
Doncic
Now.
is a generational talent, bro. For sure.
Luka is
I told y'all boys too, man. I
and
really did.
Luka is a basketball savant. Like that doesn't come along often. You know what I'm saying? You have Luka, you got Kobe, there's some other guys with like crazy high IQs, but like Luka doesn't come around. That's not every 6 years. That's every 15, 20.
Yeah.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, generational talent or not?
No,
Nah, but generational hard worker though.
no.
He's generationally consistent as fuck, bro. I'll give him that. Generational aura. How about that?
Free throw merchant.
my man aura generational. He's generational aura for sure, bro.
Hey, generational hard worker is a good one, Scruff. I might steal
Jason
that.
Tatum, generational talent or not?
Hell no.
No.
Generational unoriginal ass motherfucker, bro. I
Hold
hate that dude.
What if Jason Tatum wins 2 more championships in a row?
Well, now we're using the Rome argument, bro. And this is why I feel like, dog, I don't know. Generational talent is one of the hardest things to qualify, no question.
It is.
And Rome, I think
It
you
is.
made that blatantly obvious. But yeah, I can't go with Jason Tatum as a generational talent. But he's close as hell, though, bro.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe we got to separate
No, sir.
talent.
He's not generational. He's got another guy on the team that's damn near as good as him. So like,
I think I got it now.
There's
Tom
not
Brady-
many Jason Tatums that have existed, bro.
Hold on. Go ahead, T.
there's another one on the team. There's Jaylen Brown. He's just as good
Jaylen Brown is not Jason Tatum, though. I'm not saying he's not just as good as a player, but
because he's dark.
there's a lot more
different
Jaylen
haircut.
Browns than there are Jason Tatums.
Yeah. Yeah. Tatum.
I guess.
Tatum
bro.
is
I don't know. I don't know
Brown
when this
is the
became
leader.
the case for you, Bryce, because you just last year you were saying that Jaylen Brown was better than Tatum.
But this is what you're missing. I think
And Jaylen Brown won the
Jason
MVP.
Tatum. Wait, I think that Jason Tatum is better than Victor Wembanyama right now. So it doesn't mean someone's better than someone because one's a generational talent and one's not. You feel me? It just means that like your talent is defined by coming around once in a generation.
So what makes Tatum like that?
I think I see the disconnect here. All right. Tom Brady, not a generational talent, but a generational player. Michael Vick, not a generational player, but a generational talent.
Fair. I mean, it's a little, debatable.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're going with.
No, I get what you're saying. No,
I'm trying to separate.
Yeah.
Just natural talent, right? That just seems to ooze from certain guys, and then the ability to play the game. And sometimes, like a Kobe, right? They match and they mesh. But I think some guys are just supremely talented, and then some guys are just SGA, generational work.
And to me, T, and because I really hate this term. Bryce knows we've talked about this term in football a ton. I hate this fucking term. To me, your explanation of when they both match with Kobe, that is when you're truly generational. If you can get both the talent, the hard work, all that stuff, you can mix that together. That's the only time that you should be given that generational tag. In today's world, we just hoard out, and we see a player who's taller and bigger and stronger than everybody, and faster than everybody. So, oh, you're generational. But I don't think that's always the case.
I do want to ask one more.
Generations fuck. They said people saying PG was the GOAT. So like,
this
come on,
one could be polarizing. Maybe not. I don't know. Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask that. I was going to ask that.
Generational swag. This man was different. This man, he was good. We talk about practice. Come on, bro. Generational rant for sure. All time rant.
I would say that was more of a generational player, more so than a generational talent. I don't know if that's controversial or not, but my opinion, I'm a big AI guy, but I would say that's more generational player.
AI generational talent, bro. No question. Generational player, generational talent, all the above, bro.
Yeah, probably both. He gets
generational
the
player
mix.
for sure.
But what about practice? That I thought that factored into the generational equation.
Nah, it does, because I mean you can't.
Not for AI.
You can't.
No, sir.
You can't say it's not generational talent.
Player.
Yeah, he
But
also
man,
he kind of a generational asshole. If you know what I'm saying. We got like a lot of stories about AI being an asshole and being very volatile. But he a hell of a basketball player, man.
Man, what do you deny you an autograph back in the day or something? That's personal.
Well, I'm not here to bash the man, but that did happen. Also, I'm from Atlantic City, New Jersey, man. I got a lot of people that work in the casinos that have experienced, him firsthand.
Man, deal them cards, man. You can't be.
I ain't trying to go viral for shitting on Allen Iverson. He's my favorite player. But he was playing at the blackjack table and he just pulled the cup out, started peeing in the cup right at the table. That's some wild shit, though. That's some wild shit, ain't it? That's some pretty wild shit.
They let you get away with that at the high roller table.
They just like, yo, he's the worst.
Hard to double full bladder, man.
Casino workers is not a big fan. Not a fan.
I like that conversation.
And he didn't tip the valet.
That might be something we'll have to revisit during the football season. I think the generational, unfortunately, I agree with Rome, right? I think it's overused, but I don't think the term is going anywhere. I think it's here to stay, and it's probably going to be a term they use each and every draft season for every single sport. So we'll be back to this conversation.
Hey, Lost and Found, he know the AI origin story. When you hear that name Bubba Chuck, you know the history.
Yeah, for real.
Facts.
I actually played in a tournament in Newport News in an Iverson tournament where they gave out free Iversons to the teams that participated. So I don't have these same stories as you, Scruff. He treated me well.
Yeah, because you
a hero, boy.
He was in your neighborhood. You was in the right spot at the right time and shit.
Lost and Found from Newport News. I've been out there.
That's his hometown, man. You gonna show love to hometown.
Hey,
bro.
Newport News, if the people don't know, is an athlete factory, man. There's some less towns in this country that produce a lot of talent. Clariton and PA, but Newport News out in that 757, that Tidewater area.
Nothing but athletes, bro.
Aaron Brooks, Ronald Curry, they don't have some ballers out there.
That's another one too. Didn't Vic from out there?
Vic, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Both of the Vics.
Yeah, they got some ballers out there. It's another player that's up and coming right now that's from out there. I can't remember who it is, but they definitely produce them out there for sure. I like that conversation though. Like I said, we'll revisit that when it gets to NFL season. We definitely have to go an NFL version of this generational talent shit. All right, man. Last question, and this is based off something that happened in the group chat earlier. All right, so we've had a group chat that's been running for about 6-7 years now. I might be guessing, maybe 5 years. I don't know. The group chat been going crazy. The group chat been going so crazy that if someone says something incorrect in the group chat, we instantly search the group chat and pull a screenshot of some bullshit they said to prove them wrong, bro. The amount of times we've caught just about everybody in the chat with a flagrant foul has been crazy, man. But recently, man, the group chat has been ruined. All right, the group chat has officially been ruined, and the culprit, one of the culprits is actually in this chat room tonight. All right, he's got a hoodie on. Yeah, there's two people with a hoodie on, so I'm gonna let y'all figure out who it is. All right? I ain't gonna single him out. I'm gonna just give you context clues. He's got a hoodie on, and there's a hat in the screen, but he's not wearing it. All right.
We don't even need no clues, bro. It's team Android all day. Like I said in the chat, man.
It's also the person with the lowest video quality.
If you hey, says the guy that froze up about 3 times already. If you catch me with if you catch me with an iPhone, man, I've been swapped out. You won't ever see me with an iPhone. Been team Android since the day I got a smartphone. Never switching it up. Never joining the Apple side.
So they cloned you. If you get caught with an Apple phone, they cloned you, huh, Ron?
Yeah, if you see me with them Apple products, it's not me.
Ron gonna have an iPhone and be a Cowboys fan. He's gonna be like, nah, this ain't Ron. This guy. But nah, yeah, man. So we had this group chat going for like 5-6 years, and out of nowhere, one of the Android users in the group chat, it just has been coming up all week.
Hey, also, bro, I gotta cut you off too, because this is some biased ass Apple product bullshit right here, bro. This man going to sit here and say it's been ruined by one of the Android. There's no evidence that points to that at all. There's none.
It keeps saying the Android people have left the chat.
Bruh, the evidence is Apple. You know what's crazy is on my side, it didn't say that once. I never left the chat. I still had the shit pinned. The evidence is Apple trying to single people out, trying to exclude people, trying to be exclusive, brainwashing with the branding to make everybody feel like, Apple's the best product, which they do a good job of it. They're like a lot of the other major companies in this country that do that. So
yeah, it was nasty.
They're like the Nike of this shit, Yeah, if I told you Nike and Adidas was going to make the exact same product, which one would you buy before you saw it?
I'm a Nike guy.
Right.
I'm buying Nike.
It's the same with Apple though. It's
I got a question.
Apple, bro.
First of all, it's not just the brand though. Like I bought a pair of shell toes and walked them from one day, and I never wore them again in my life because they fucking suck. and I'm wearing Nikes in the gym every day, bro. Every day. They feel like I'm not wearing anything.
Adidas just caught a major strain. That's crazy.
It is true, bro.
We'll never get Adidas.
Trash. It's trash. I wasted $70.
What year did you buy shell toes, and where were you walking?
Wearing shell toes is crazy to walk long distances.
All right, this is back in like maybe 2009. I still got them because like I only wore them once. I swear to God, I only wore them once. They fresh as hell though.
You passed because it was 09, but wearing shell toes to walk long distances is insane.
I wore them on campus. Matter of fact, I just went to class and came back. I said, "Oh hell no!"
I mean, I might be showing my age here, but most guys bought shell toes to break dance. You had your boom box. You had
that's what I thought they were known for. I never really seen them in the wild.
Well, that's not my era, T. I grew up in the Air Force One era.
So what?
Bryce no.
What made you?
Yeah, when I met you, all you had was forces, boy.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I used to be big in the forces.
Lost and Finding wants to know how to address us. I think.
Okay, here we go.
I think
the name's on the screen for real.
I mean, I'm T.
The homies call me Scruff though, man. That's what they call. That's what they be calling me, man.
My mom called me T, so it's not just a cool social media nickname. My parents call me T.
Mom call you T is hilarious.
I've been T.
Does she add the boogie? Is the question.
I actually added the boogie because I heard somebody else call something boogie, and I just stole it. It just sounded cool.
Ace Boogie.
Yeah, it was Ace Boogie, but I heard somebody else. They used that reference on somebody's name, like, "Hey, kick it to my man so and so Boogie," and I said, "You know what? I'm taking that."
Yeah, that works right there, Lost and Found. You can't go wrong with that.
That's it.
But yeah, nah, bro. I still can't get over walking long distances in shell toes.
Hey, I ain't know. I ain't know, bro. They were sneakers, you know. So I put people walking in them.
Man came back with blisters on his feet. It's crazy.
Them shits was terrible.
I'll say this, man. If you got an Android, I only trust you if you my man. All right, Ron my man, so I trust him. If you got an Android, I don't know you. I don't trust you.
Hey, listen.
Nah, no bullshit, bro. If I meet a new person, and I put the number in the phone, and I send that first text, and that joint turn green, I'm like, man.
Listen,
I'm not that.
I want you wrong today because I own an iPhone, but I am team Android, and I'm only team iPhone for the sake of youth coaching, right? Because iPhone, iMessage, you can send pictures and videos a lot easier, right? Parents, send me the video of my son. Send me the picture. So to facilitate coaching, coaching their gas, I switched to iPhone, but I'm a Android guy. There's still some functionality that my iPhone doesn't have that I miss. The call log for Apple sucks. Sucks.
What are you missing from your call log that you wish you had back? Like what can be desired about a call log outside the saving numbers that you really wish you had back, bro? Let me know.
I think off the top of my head, like you can't.
The call log sucks is insane.
You can't.
It's like, what are you doing there?
Bro, let's start with the fact that it's a phone.
It's a crazy critique. I could have understood so many other critiques. My man said the call log sucks. Like,
that's why he just talking, bro. Like he just talking. And you know how I know he just talking? Because the worst kind of point to make is, hey man, I really feel strongly about this, but I own this. Like, you clearly don't, because you clearly see the value in it because you showed me and just demonstrated why there's value in it for you, because it makes your life easier in X ways. And then you start listening to the cons and you talk about call logs. I'm done with you,
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm done.
Please explain call log. That's all I need, bro. Just explain.
Your call logs is whack. What is you talking about?
Bro, correct me if I'm wrong. On your Android, if you go to your call log and you click somebody's name, you can see a history, like a log of every call that you've made to that one particular person, incoming and outgoing. You cannot do that.
Yeah, I think you can do that on our phone.
Try it.
Yo, okay, good point. Yeah, all right, okay.
I think my iPhone
you could also just go to the top of the call log and type in their name.
You guys,
and it'll show you all the calls.
You guys literally just proved my whole point, though, with that conversation about the Apple shit. T, a very sensible man makes a very sensible point. And what do the Apple users do? They just laugh. They just, so like that's the classic brainwash Brandon tactic. Let me tell you why it's Apple, so it's just better. It's and then when he tells you what it does, you're like, oh, the iPhone could do that too.
Nah, but you know why though? Because the point of the call log is to show me the log of my call. So if I simply just kept scrolling down, I would eventually see.
But how much time did that save you? How much more efficient was that? Like we're talking about a piece of technology. It needs to be efficient. Efficiency equals better. So you know what I'm saying? If I need to see how many times I call T.
Why you want to see that? Why you want to see that? See, that sounds like some shit hoes need access to be honest.
When I pick up my phone,
how many times you call this girl?
I need phone function.
Okay, why you calling her on the 16th and the 15th and the 14th and the 13th? Like,
no,
I don't need that information on my phone.
I'm gonna tell you why, right? I'm gonna tell you why because I get a lot of phone calls from numbers that I don't have saved from for various reasons, and this is a me issue, right? Even after I've had that conversation, even multiple times, sometimes I don't necessarily save that person's phone number as fast as I should. So if I go and I hit that number, I can look at the date and the time and remember, oh, I had this conversation this day, this time, and say, oh, that's this person.
Yeah, but also the iPhone is better, and you really walking right into this. Because the iPhone is better because you don't have to save people's numbers because then you have a conversation with them, and then later when they text you back, it's going to say the number, but it's going to say maybe Tyrone, maybe Bryce, because they know who it is really. But it's like, all right, you don't want to save it, that's cool. We're still going to let you know.
I'm talking about people that I don't have numbers saved. And I'm tell you why I thought of this. I got a call today from a coach that wanted Tate to come out and play quarterback for their team. They started a new program. They're looking for kids. I've talked to this coach multiple times. But so I missed the call on purpose because I didn't remember it. But had I been able to see when I talked to that particular number, I would have known, oh, boom, that's the coach. And then I could have just picked it up, called him back like, hey, coach, this is, you know what I'm saying, so-and-so's that. But instead, I had to text like, hey, what's up? And try to figure it out and piece it together.
You know, or you can make your life easier and just save the number.
I could have. I said it was a me problem, but it's more convenient to how I, you know, and maybe I have this problem because I started off as an Android user.
I see what you're saying, and I guess that's the perk of the Android users, man. You know, you look at the missed call and show you how many times you called the person. Shout out to the droid for the call log, bro. it sounds like a reach, but we'll go with it. Sounds like a crazy reach.
Yo, that's the best you got, man. Come on, bro.
I mean, to get more technical, we can talk about how the operating system's open. You can root the phone, you can speed it up, you can customize, you can do all sorts of things. You can partition it. You can have guest users.
Now that's what I rock with it for. Like if you're really into like the software side of phones and you really know how to, you know, get inside the phone and tweak things, like you can do some pretty cool things to it. I've seen some dope things on. I've seen Androids running iOS operating system. Yeah. So there's a lot of things you can do to that, and I do like that about Android. I used to have a Droid, so I'm not totally against it.
The thing is, 90% of the population don't even know what any of that stuff is that you just said.
Well, I do feel like living in America, though, the best phone is an iPhone. Maybe if I was in China.
Well, that was what I was going to get to. That was what I was going to get to, man. Like, which phone is more used worldwide, and which phone is run by a propaganda machine that has branding that just brainwashes everybody and tells them it's the best? You saying the iPhone is the best is me saying that the NFL is the best sport in the world. That's me saying the Super Bowl is that's what that is.
I can't disagree with you there, Rome. You're right.
There's so many things that are better about the iPhone. The productivity hack is you like for me, for work, like I could text my clients right on my phone, or I could do it on my laptop. It makes it a lot easier.
Let me cut in real quick because Lost and Found got a good question, man. One more question. What does GAS stand for and the culture? So when we first started GAS, man, it's a crazy conversation, man, because me and Scruff kind of came up with the GAS name together, and it was an accident. I guess technically Scruff kind of came up with it without really knowing he came up with it. And I was like,
true.
Yeah, I think we just came up with a name. So I was talking to Scruff one time. We were like, man, we need to just start, we need to start something around sports. Like we had friends like Rome, T, good men that knew sports in and out. We would have these great conversations surrounding the games that we love. And on a phone conversation with Scruff one day, he was like, man, we just need to start like, a good ass network, a good ass sports blog. And I was like, bruh, that's the name right there, Good Ass Sports. And from then, that moment on, Good Ass Sports was born. GAS for, reasons that are obvious, right? For forward-facing reasons, we can't just be Good Ass Sports everywhere. But the origin of GAS is Good Ass Sports, and the culture. We're sports for the culture, right? Y'all know how we go. We talking about iPhones versus Droids right now. We getting all sorts of conversations on these episodes, man, and that's why we call ourselves sports for the culture, because the conversation might start with sports, but as you can see, it doesn't always end with that. So let's get back to this Droid iPhone conversation real quick. Just wanted to make sure we gave Lost and Found answers when asking some great questions tonight. But I don't know, man. Put it in the chat. Let us know what y'all think. Are y'all team Apple, team iPhone, or are y'all team Droid? You feel me? Like, and I feel like drawing that line between Apple and Droid, I kind of know what side of a lot of things you're on. Like, I feel like everybody that's team Droid is also team Adidas over Nike, team Pepsi over Coke.
Nah. Hey, that's a solid question though, because you can learn a lot about a person from those type of questions.
Wait.
Like,
just so we're clear, like Pepsi or Coke for y'all? I don't drink either. I was about to ask that same question. I don't really drink soda.
I was gonna say that. It's more like Sierra Mist versus Sprite. All the Droid users see Sierra Mist folks.
Sierra Mist is better.
Nobody.
Nah.
Sierra Mist. Y'all
They fuck that. It's not even Sierra Mist no
Pepper,
more.
whatever.
Right.
Oh,
Y'all some Burger King ass head motherfuckers. Y'all Burger King versus McDonald's like shit.
What's
That's really iPhone versus Droid for real.
I do think you can really kind of
Y'all
draw
Domino's pizza like shit.
data on a person based on their simple choices between polar opposites or just what's popular. And one of my favorites is barbecue sauce or honey mustard.
Honey mustard.
Ooh.
Well, we talking about chicken, right?
I'm talking about what is your sauce?
Yeah, what's it going on?
For chicken, do we dip in chicken? What we talking about?
A nugget or a tender?
Honey mustard.
I feel like
Yeah, I'm going honey mustard.
This is a great debate.
But I mean, I don't know, bro. Because I'm be honest with you. I'm be honest with you, bro. A guy like me, I get lost in the sauce, bro. If I got a tender spread, I need the barbecue and the honey. If I need all the sauces for real, bro. Like I'm dipping in the barbecue, biting, dipping in the honey. Like you can't share the sauce with me. You got to get your own. Like.
And then it's
like
levels. There's so many levels to honey mustard, bro. You feel me?
Yeah,
it's levels to barbecue too. But then, like, we talk about that bright yellow honey mustard, or we talk about that Dijon honey mustard with the little brown specks in it.
Yeah.
If you got the brown specks, we going crazy, dog. Like, but if it's that watered down, weak sauce, I don't know. Sometimes that honey mustard hit or miss, bro.
Yeah,
bro, the brown specks
sometimes
it
be too. Sometimes it be a little too tangy and shit.
I'm gonna give y'all my secret honey mustard recipe. We go
honey and mustard done.
We go. Oh, listen. Hold on. No. We do brown. We do the Dijon mustard. We do regular mustard. We do honey, and we do a tablespoon of horseradish.
Okay. Might have tried that.
That's probably good. That's probably real good.
I feel like divides grown men from the boys. Man, if you putting ketchup or mustard on your hot dog, man. Pause, all right? But I'm just saying, it comes a time in every grown man's life where they no longer putting ketchup on the glizzy, bro. That shit getting straight mustard, maybe some relish, and that's it. I feel like if I see somebody load up the glizzy with ketchup, I'm like, you still a little guy, but you still a young boy. You still a YN.
I like the
I was gonna say that
on there.
That goes back to I used to look at my uncles and my pops like, damn, how do these fools only eat their glizzy with just mustard, man? That's insane. And then I hit a certain age and I was like, why was I ever putting ketchup on this junk, bro? What was I ever doing with this?
Bro, as a kid though, you label ketchup on everything as a kid, bro.
So I kind of have a theory that ketchup only goes on fries, burgers, and food that is otherwise not edible.
Nah, facts, bro. It's definitely burgers. And I feel like the older I get, it's one of those things like the less I like it, the older I get. I used to love ketchup. It's like the older I get, it's like I'm losing that. Crazy how your palate changes, but I'm really losing that taste for ketchup.
Yeah, bruh. So true.
I don't know if it's having kids or what, but like the way that my 6-year-old eats ketchup, bro, I can't even fade it. Like I don't dislike ketchup, but like you want to talk about somebody that loves ketchup, bro. Like that's probably why you don't like it no more. Like you probably ate that shit too much as a kid. Now you like I'm good.
That might be it.
And I can remember, bro. I was at a game one time, bro, and I just looked at. I was probably like 20, and I was at a Skins game. I went to load up the glizzy, pause, and I looked at the ketchup and the mustard, and I just found myself only putting mustard on the joint. I'm like, yeah, what am I doing? And from that point on, bro, I never touched the ketchup.
Bro, Lost and Finder said he put ketchup on a bagel, bro. Am I reading that right? Am I reading that right?
Hey, yo,
ketchup on the bagel is crazy.
Hold on.
I heard that I could do the eggs.
I have seen people do that before.
Also, I think ketchup on eggs is a little childish.
Ketchup on any of those three, I feel like you might be some sort of serial killer. Like
bagels the only one I've never heard of. Like
bagels is wild. Yeah.
Bagels is ridiculous.
I can do ketchup with the eggs.
Cream cheese or butter. That's another one on the bagel.
I feel like the only way it could be acceptable, and I would never do it, but if you putting cheese on the eggs, I guess I can see you then putting ketchup on it because it's like you putting cheese on burgers. You know what I'm saying? Like if the burger
On
had
like a
egg,
breakfast,
yeah.
maybe
probably
on
got
like
the
a
egg.
breakfast sandwich, like
Yeah.
like we used to
Ham,
get
egg, and
from
cheese.
Mike, salt pepper ketchup, like they be doing in Jersey.
Oh
Salt
yeah,
pepper
that's that
ketchup.
Jersey shit. That's salt pepper
Salt pepper
ketchup.
ketchup. Literally one word. Salt pepper ketchup. Yep.
I can understand. I mean, I get it from a chef's flavor profile point of view, right? You're really just adding sweetness. So I get it, right? Ketchup on eggs, syrup on eggs. You're adding sugar. All right? So I get it. But the mac and cheese, I'm kind of.
Mac and cheese is insane.
It got to be
Hey,
like
don't Pat
mac or
Mahomes
something
do
that's
that?
not-
Pat Mahomes do some crazy shit like that.
And like that, man, we all think that that's weird. Like eating the steak with ketchup is crazy, bro. That is childish as fuck, bro.
Steak
That's
with
why the
ketchup
girl
not
didn't know
even
what his
good.
favorite food was. She said fried chicken. Man looked at her like she was crazy.
Hey,
She was crazy.
I was finding going crazy in the comments.
This right here is a perfect example.
Shots were fired right here, like on that comment.
Oh, Laws of Power coming for next out here, bro. Yo, listen, I ain't that crazy. I'm crazy. Know. I ain't that crazy. That's hilarious.
He said there's levels to crazy. I put ketchup on bagels, and you think Brock Purdy is a franchise quarterback. That really puts it in perspective.
Oh my goodness. Hey, hold on, question. I got a question for Lost and Found. Lost and Found, question, bro. Do you have an iPhone or Android? It's gonna tell me everything I gotta know. Do you have an iPhone or Android, my good man? Let me know, bro. Please.
Oh man.
That's all I gotta know, dog. But this is a perfect example why we call the network sports for the culture, man. It might just get into a conversation about ketchup. You never know, bro. You really never know. But Laws and Found, get at me. I gotta know if you an iPhone.
Hey. He gang. He gang.
I definitely know.
I gotta do too. I gotta do too. I just knew it in my heart, bro. Like I did. I just knew it in my heart, bro. You know, that shit's crazy, bro. That is crazy.
Hey, he letting y'all team down, bro. What's he got, bro?
Oh.
Yo, what kind of phone he got? Post it one more time, bro.
No, but it's crazy because Rome already knew. When he said, he was like, all right.
Yeah. I knew right away. I knew right away.
We do know. Yes, I know.
Yo.
No, that's a fact though. That's facts though. You the man Lost and Found. You kept it lit tonight.
I'm Team Droid, so I feel the droids.
But he uses an iPhone though.
I mean, for work.
Keep an eye on people like that.
Hey man, good shit tonight, fellas. Y'all know we back next week. We here every Tuesday, starting somewhere around 10:15, 10:30. So tap in with us. Let us know what y'all thought about tonight's show. We always looking for feedback, always looking for comments. If you haven't liked and subscribed, do that ASAP. And y'all know how we end each and every show. Sports